A building so tall that it stretches into space. Sounds like something straight out of science fiction, right? But what if we actually tried to build a skyscraper that reached all the way to the moon? Before you start sketching blueprints, there are a few things you should know. First, let's talk about scale. The tallest buildings on Earth, like the Burj Khalifa, are impressive, but they barely scratch the sky compared to what we'd need. The distance from Earth to the moon is about 384,400 kilometers. Stacking Burj Khalifas on top of each other, we'd need nearly 450,000 of them to get there. And that's not even considering the materials, physics, or what happens when your top-floor penthouse is suddenly in space. Sounds crazy. Well, it gets worse. The moment you start stacking buildings beyond a certain height, things go from difficult to downright impossible. And it's not just about height. There are forces at play that would rip this monstrous tower apart before it even got halfway. Let's say we somehow find enough steel, concrete, and glass to start construction. The first problem: weight. The base of our super skyscraper would have to hold up everything above it. Even with the strongest materials on Earth, at some point, the pressure would be so immense that the lower floors would literally be crushed into dust. Even the best engineering tricks can't save us here. Skyscrapers today use steel and reinforced concrete, which are incredibly strong but not infinitely strong. We'd need materials that don't even exist yet, something stronger than graphene, more durable than titanium, and light enough that the weight doesn't collapse the entire structure. And even if we solve the crushing weight problem, there's something else. The Earth isn't exactly a calm place. Earthquakes, shifting tectonic plates, and even slight imperfections in the foundation could send our tower tumbling before it ever reaches the stratosphere. If you've ever been in a tall building, you might have felt it sway ever so slightly. That's because wind pushes against skyscrapers, and the higher you go, the stronger the wind gets. At the height of Mount Everest, winds can reach over 300 kilometers per hour, 186 miles per hour. And as we go higher, into the stratosphere and beyond, the forces become violent, unpredictable, and extreme. Your billion-story building wouldn't just sway, it would twist, bend, and eventually snap like a twig. We could try making it flexible, like modern earthquake-resistant skyscrapers, but that would only work up to a point. By the time you're a few hundred kilometers up, the tower would be moving so much that just stepping onto an upper floor might feel like standing on a roller coaster in the middle of a hurricane. Alright, let's assume we somehow build the lower floors strong enough and make the building resistant to the wind. How do people actually get to the top? Elevators are already a challenge in modern skyscrapers. The Burj Khalifa, for example, has double-deck elevators to reduce the number of shafts needed. But for a skyscraper to the moon, elevators wouldn't work at all.